guys. All right, guys, we're trying again for like the 5th time to see if we can go live, to see if anybody's here. There is a huge glitch going on right now, and I just keep trying because I don't see anyone in the stream, in the chat. Apparently, the video is glitched to the point where people can either not get in, it says the video is unavailable, or there is no chat, so I don't know what to do. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me in the video, and we'll give it about 5 minutes, maybe even a minute, because it's usually pretty quick when you guys can come in and say hello. But it's looking so weird anyway. It's like I think they were just updating a bunch of things, guys, really. Let me fix looks like I see uniquely me in there. So I think some people are here. Yay, thank goodness. Oh my goodness. This is so scary. This is like the 2nd time this happens this year on YouTube, but it's never been just for the videos. I mean, just for the live stream, so it's really strange. But we'll forge and we'll see what happens. I do see a few people popping in. Let me try to get some of that screen out of the way. All right, guys, I'm so glad you're here. Can you hear me okay? Is the stream okay, or is it glitchy? Yeah, you've been trying to upload. You can even upload. See, somebody told me, hey, Jude, somebody told me you should go and record it and then upload it. But then I thought, she said, well, you probably had trouble uploading it too. And then I couldn't see very many people either. A lot of the people I was trying to go see, it would say it was unavailable. So anyway, let's get started before they throw us out again. Been thrown out of better places, but you just never know what's going to happen tonight. Guillermo's here as well. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let me see who else. Laura Lopez, Nora A, Pamela, and Kathleen K, and Flippin' Optimist. Guys, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it very much. We're a little bit late. I will probably go run over to Zombies as soon as she can get on as well. She might have to get started without me for a little while, but I really had a wonderful topic today, which I think is really something we should always be doing for everything that we embark on and encounter in life. And that is reassessing what you're doing and reassessing how you're doing it, and not be complacent with your ways. A lot of people hate criticism. I mean, literally, people hate criticism. They hate even constructive criticism. I learned long ago, well, not that long ago, about 7 years ago, when I started in my professional career as a teacher, I learned to take criticism as a learning tool, to always accept it as, because in the kind of field that I'm in, we're a team, right? So it's always about, well, we can do it better this way, or maybe we should try it this way. It's not about you did it wrong and so forth and so on. So I had to learn to not say, well, I was doing it like this because of this, or this is the way I've always done it, or when I worked at this school, we did it this way, or when I was at the clinic, we actually did it this way. Because in the end, it doesn't matter how or why. The criticism is really important that you just file it away, read it, learn it, live it, then file it away, and don't ever take it personal. And that's kind of what happens in our business as well. We keep thinking, a lot of people keep thinking, oh, every venue's the same. I have a beautiful blouse. I'm going to put it on eBay. I'm going to put it on Etsy, and I'm not going to tweak at all. I'm just going to take that one picture and I'll be able to cross post. And I think that's a mistake in a lot of ways, because the eBay buyer is not the same as the Etsy buyer, and not the same as the Depop buyer, and not the same as Macari or Posh. They're all different, and we need to realize that in our pictures, in our postings, in our listings. Because whereas we could be complacent with putting on, the Old Navy jackets and the any kind of, I would say, what do we call it? Fast fashion, quick, everybody's wearing that almost a uniform, right? The kids will always wear their uniforms, either few years ago it was Hollister, and then Victoria's Pink and all that stuff. So it's almost a uniform. And you get to the point where you just take a picture and then you put it on like that. But you have to think above and beyond that. For example, I used to be really creative with my Etsy listings. I used to take pictures of my daughter on a skateboard with a crazy old poncho from the 60s. And it would sell immediately because it was a fun photo. I would put a fun, interesting title on it. And then it got to the point where I was just trying to generate quick little listings, and I would just put them very generically, hand knit red, white, and blue poncho or whatever, and Free People shirt, or the Miss Me jeans, and so forth. And they were all so cookie cutter that no one saw the difference. And I think we need to see the difference in that buyer. That buyer really is unique. They really are different in each one. Now, they may cross paths here and there. They always do, of course, but it's important that we do that. For example, the other day I love to watch the Style Networks here on YouTube. And it was something that I didn't notice until I saw the comment. But the lady was a highfalutin woman and her daughter, and they were showing their beautiful fashions and their Pradas and their, all of their Louboutin shoes. And they're quick little snippets, right? So she was showing her heel, beautiful heels that had jewels, and she talked about how wonderful they were because of the aesthetic of the item, right? But someone, and it was a gentleman who pointed it out in the comment, and it was rather embarrassing, but so true. And this is a woman of means, okay? And he says, you should be more concerned about your unkempt heels. They need attention. You need a pedicure. And I scrolled back to see, I looked back and rewound it, and it was blatantly obvious. I was busy looking at the heel because it was so gorgeous, but someone else noticed that, and it was a second, but it totally turned him off to the video. And I'm saying that maybe some of us have been guilty of that in our pictures. Sometimes maybe we could use a little bit extra perspective on what everyone else is looking at. So when someone says something like, it doesn't make any difference how you present it, you just take the picture, as long as it really does make a difference. Whether you model that shoe, and a lot of people like the modeling, especially over on Depop and over on Posh, they really, really do. But if you're presenting something that looks ghastly or that is not attractive, and the same thing could be said about your prop, or your background. Many people still forget to clear up that background. It's really, really important that you pay attention to that. Guys, let me check the chat for a little while and reassess what else I was going to talk to you about. Muy de acuerdo. Hey, Picky Chick. Thank you, Shiny Jewels. I appreciate that. I am wearing bright. And then this is some amber that I picked up at a jewelry jar when they were only about $10 over in Chicago. They've gone up since to about 15 to 20, but I'm still buying them and I love it. It's huge. And then this is one that I found in that abyss back there. It's just kind of a coral color, and it's got elephants all over it. And I think it came from a jewelry jar as well. So, alguna razón trato de darle me gusta en sus videos. Yo sé qué pasa. Okay. I'm reading some Spanish in there, guys. Thank you, Norma Rodriguez, for being here. Jennifer Gattenby as well. I really do appreciate it. What do you think about that, guys? Taking that time to do that. And not only that, guys, but in your marketing as well. A lot of times we think, oh, nobody cares what your name is. Nobody cares what the name of your store is. They do. They do. So I reassess things all the time. For example, my name here was Thelma Thrift, and I like it for my channel. I still do. I still parlay into perfumes and into handbags, and I think it's okay because it doesn't really, speak too much about what I do. It can, but then it can't. It's a little bit on the obscure. But when I was on eBay, I changed my name to Thelma Thrift over there. It used to be Thelma T 2007. And I changed it because I wanted people to kind of, I wanted to start a brand and kind of associate it that way. But then I thought, I got really into clothing. I started watching Nicole State. Love Nicole State. I think she's fabulous. You may have your own opinion. That's fine. We all have our opinions. But I loved her business model and I loved her attitude, and she set me on a different trajectory just by watching her. So everybody has their own mentors, everybody has their own people that they like to follow for whatever reason, opinions about this and the other. Personal, it doesn't matter to me. I get something from you, and that's what's important to me. What you can teach me, whether somebody else likes you or doesn't like you, whether you're blackballed here or blackballed there, I don't care. If I like you, I'm going to watch you. So I started watching her, and then I thought, you know what? I want to start selling nothing but clothing and fashion and handbags. Well, to me, Thelma Thrift spoke to that to an extent, but I wanted to have a more prestigious sounding name, a more fashion oriented name. So I added the word Avenue to my other eBay store. Same thing at other stores that I've opened. I've put the word style in there, and I just try to make it so that people understand not only what they're going to go in there and find, but how they're going to see it presented. So it's really, really important that you think about that. Do you really want to have the name Goodwill Picker on your, Poshmark store? Really? I mean, do you want to present that kind of a thing? And I say that only because, believe me, I'm not a snob when it comes to where everything I've got on right now, guys, thrifted, auction, pawn shops, auctions, everything. Except maybe my jeans. I got these at Macy's. But I'm not a snob about that. But some people are. Some people are, and you would not believe to what extent. I was going to tell you a story that happened to me on Amazon. I sold a Barney VHS tape, guys. A Barney VHS tape. I got on that bandwagon too. And believe me, I made some money on Barney. I sold some for about $30, some 10 and 5 and whatnot. There were some really sought after Barney VHS tapes. Well, someone on Amazon took umbrage to the fact that there was a residue, I guess I had, how Goodwill puts like 20 tags on their items. And I guess I had left a little snippet of a Goodwill tag. She literally put it in my feedback on Amazon. She's like, I can't believe you sold me a Goodwill tape, this and the other. And I had put good used, right? She says, you should not, she went on and on. She was insulted that I sold her something from the Goodwill. Really. She's one of those people that think that, everything from the Goodwill probably has bed bugs or, fleas, the type, right? So she took it to another level to leave it on my feedback. This is why I'm telling you, you may not think it's important. You may not see that, but it's definitely noted by many. It really is. So what could I say? I apologize. I think I even gave her a refund, and I let her keep the VHS tape because obviously it was a good tape. There was nothing wrong with it. She was insulted that it came from the Goodwill. So that's what I'm saying to you today. When you open your stores, when you present your things, when you pick a name, remember the customer you're targeting. There's a frugal gal out there who wants and doesn't care whether you got it from a garage sale or from a thrift store, but there's other people on Poshmark and on other places like that where they would appreciate thinking, she probably just wore it a couple of times. I'm sure she bought them at Neiman's and just got tired of them. And now it's my turn to snatch up those Louboutins. And then there's others who they will be scrutinizing, where did she get those? And da-da-da-da. So think about that, guys. You may not want to think that people are like that, but they really are. They really, really are. And they think about what kind of an environment it may have come from. I've been very disappointed with a Gucci bag that I got. And then I let her realize when I saw some of their photos that I should have known that it was going to come stinking of cigarettes and filthy. And she described it as new or almost new. Of course, it went right back. But then now I know, and I do look at those pictures and I do look at those profiles on Poshmark, and I do look and see their love letters or not. Because if I'm going to spend over $50 on something, I want to know where it's coming from. I really do. So keep that in mind when you do your listing that, yeah, eBay, everybody loves a bargain. Some people don't care if you want to call it Garage 101. That's fine. I'm into it. They're into it. That's fine. There's some other people that are holding this higher expectation. And that's why a lot of people feel like they don't want to use the eBay tape and whatnot. To me, that's nonsense. I think it's a good way to advertise it. But there's a lot of people who feel that way. They really are. So that was one crazy story. Another one, I am very much a recycler, and I recycle everything. I reuse everything. When I started selling on eBay pretty heavily a few years ago, I was using a lot of paper bags to ship my items because I get these brown paper bags from the groceries. I prefer my groceries in a brown paper bag. They're easier to carry, a lot more fits in there. I can carry them out of the car quickly. So I was reusing them to package things. Someone took umbrage to that paper bag. It was, I believe it was on eBay, and they said, could you not have packaged it other than a paper bag? Whereas someone on Etsy complimented me on it and said, I'm so happy to see that you're reusing the bags to wrap your, to ship and so forth. You just never know. Now, this was before I actually opened a store, and now I get the plastic and the bubbles and all of that from eBay. But you just have to be really, really careful about that kind of stuff and what kind of customer you want to target. Again, the Depop is a really, really young crowd. Make sure you have a name that's kind of what they're into. Look at the pop culture of that age group. I'm lucky enough to work with that age group right now. I did teach 8th grade, and I know everything that they're into and what they talk about and what they wear and what they watch on YouTube and things like that. Like one time I was looking at a item, and one of the students came in to talk to me after school, and I was looking at a YouTube video, and I put it on pause. And then he says, don't ever call yourself something with the word Texas on it. And I was like, why? And he says, because it makes it sound like that's all you do. And I said, that's not my name, whatever. That's not what I'm doing or whatever. And he was like, well, because I had told them that I sold on eBay. And that was their perception. That was their young perception, but a perception nonetheless, right? So we always have to think about what people are thinking about certain names for your stores, certain ways that you list, the props that you use, even the things that you use to package are scrutinized. And again, that VHS tape insulted my customer on Amazon. I'm surprised she didn't, make a bigger stink about it. She did leave some feedback, but it didn't really hurt me. But to me, that's just incredible. And I never made that mistake again. I checked every one of those tapes, every one of those books that I send off on Amazon, because she took umbrage to it. What do you guys think about that? Hey, Kim. Hey, Granny Josie, how are you? Yes. That's what I do. And lately I had also been using the butcher paper that we use to decorate our bulletin boards, because we pull them down from the bulletin boards and they just get recycled, and they're in beautiful colors. So I was using those too. But some people took umbrage to it, I'm telling you. Exactly. But some people have that perception about Goodwill, that it is dirty, that it is used. So what I'm just saying to you today is to think about those things as you're opening your stores. If you open a store, or if you have different areas, do you want the name Goodwill in there? Do you want the name Picker in there? I mean, I don't know. You may, and some people may not take offense to it, or may not take even a second thought about it, but some people may. That's all I'm saying. Some people may not like my name either. Thelma, it's a 200-year-old name. I don't know how old it is. Some people might think, oh, this and the other. But you just have to judge all of that for yourself. And remember that in the end, we're marketing ourselves to market our products. That's all there is to it. We can't sit here and say, oh, it doesn't matter, or they can just move on and buy from someone else. That's fine. Then maybe you're in the wrong business, because in the end, we do have to please the customer. In the end, we do have to attract that click. That sell-through rate has to happen, or we're wasting our time. We are basically wasting our time if we can't understand that, objectively, and not take everything so seriously, as far as sensitively and personally. That's what we can't do. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about to you today. I do want to show you some things I picked up. Another thing that I wanted to say about your e-business is that When you find that you're buying and buying and buying and you're winding up with a lot of dead stock, or not dead stock, but I guess death piles they call them, or things that you're not listing, or when we buy the jewelry jars and the jewelry bags and we're pulling out a lot of junk, maybe it's time to rethink where we're sourcing from. I've had to do that with some of the jars that I had, not that I've been disappointed with most of the ones that I've gotten. They've all been pretty good, but just that, I'm spending $40 to $50 on the jewelry jars, right? And I'm coming home. Gracias, Norma. And I'm coming home and I'm pulling out 10 things, maybe 5 things that are really, really going to make me money. Well, wouldn't it be better if I just picked from the counter? I'm lucky enough to have some Goodwills with jewelry in the counters. So I found this gorgeous piece. This is some kind of a natural stone, and it is all embellished with sterling. These cones are sterling. All of the other beads are sterling. The tag is kind of stuck in there. I'll have to pull that out later. But I spent $30 for about 5 pieces the other day, right out of the counter. And maybe you guys can help me identify this stone. I think it's just gorgeous. I don't know what it is, but I thought about that. How many times am I going to keep hoping that the jewelry jar that I'm looking at may yield 4 or 5 good things that I can make? And I don't want to make my money back. I want to at least double my money, sometimes triple it, of course. Of course, it's fun, and I'm still going to buy them. But if I see that the counter has more harvest, that's where I'm going. Moss agate, is that what you think? Thank you. Yeah, it's so pretty. I love the different, look how they're actually carved. Some of them are carved really beautiful, and these are sterling. And I believe they only had this one for $7 or $8. Like I said, total I spent $30. So I was really, really grateful. This is another really pretty one. I don't know what the stone is, but it's genuine pearls, and then the green ones are faux pearls. Really pretty piece picked up as well. This pretty crystal one. And I left well, they didn't even have any that day, but I didn't give up. I was there, so I looked through the counters. And I love this multicolored crystal. I think it's gorgeous. Serpentine, but you think it's an agate? Oh my goodness, wonderful, Jennifer. Yes. And again, that's a great philosophy as well. Sometimes you do have to spend more to make more. And don't be afraid to do that if you know that's what, that's a good venue for you, whatever store you've established or whatever shop you're in now. If you're doing well there, why not invest in that one? Now, here's an update on this one. This was 14 karat. We saw it really close up the other day. And it's definitely, it has a signature on it. It has a patent. You probably can't see it, but it's all written there. And it is 14 karat. And I decided that I will very likely sell each individual pendant, and they are also gold on the gold wiring bail there. Sell each one separately, and then maybe sell one for a little bit more with the chain itself. Though I really like the chain, it's a little bit difficult for me to open. And as much as I change jewelry, it's just not going to be practical for me to spend that much time trying to take off a necklace. So that's what I'm going to do with those. But that's pretty much, if I just reiterate really quickly about that, is to know your customer. Know that all your customers are different. Know that they scrutinize everything. There are some that don't care. All they want to find is a vintage rocker shirt. There are some that are so picky, they will even look at who is wearing the shoe, how that shoe is being worn. If you happen to take a picture, a lot of people take pictures on Poshmark with the shoes on their feet. So make sure you get your pedicures and make sure you picture them nicely and there's no dirty laundry behind you or anything. Here's a beautiful piece I got as well from the counter. This one says made with Swarovski elements. And it looks so industrial. It reminds me almost of a tire. Look at that. I just thought that was so unique and so pretty. Cute, cute bangle. I don't sell more jewelry, Tammy, over at Tam's place. I really don't. I think that's another thing. I sell what I list. If I'm listing constantly on a certain venue, this is why another little aspect I was going to bring today is where you put your might. It's like multitasking. You know, we can't do it. We try. We talk on the phone while we're driving, and it's not right. Even talking on the phone is not right. Your mind can only focus on so much. I think we did a study, and I read about a study when we were doing psychology, and it said that a drunk driver is actually safer on the road than someone who's on the cell phone. And not even texting, just someone on the cell phone. Because a drunk driver is like overcompensating and is almost more careful than someone who thinks I can multitask and I can do this. And that's the same thing with our business. We seem to multitask. Now, I did say, and I still say, you should try all the venues, and you should, see which one you like better, and maybe you can handle 2 or 3 at one time. But there's always going to be one that's going to fall. There will always be one that's going to fall. So when I list more jewelry, I sell more jewelry. When I got into the clothing, like I said, after kind of really getting into Nicole State's videos and really getting into what she was doing, and I wanted to do that as well, because I always sold clothing. But I sold clothing because I love clothing, and I like to switch things around. And my daughters, I have 3 daughters who I was always trying to get them the latest things, and they would tire of it, or they want to, how fashion is, it's constantly moving. So I would sell their things, but I was actively sourcing clothing, and then I was actively listing clothing, and then I was selling a lot of clothing. And then now it's really hot in my garage where most of my clothes are. My husband has 2 motorcycles in front of me, and I can't get in there. I can't get in there, and I can't, pose my mannequins where I want to. I have backdrops. I have all kinds of things. I love the light that I can get from outdoors. So that's on the back burner, and I'm only listing what I have. I'm only relisting it, tweaking it some way, lowering the prices. I'm trying to blow it out of Poshmark. I have things on there for $5. It will only make me 2, which is probably what I bought them for. But the clothing has gotten shelfware, so it's got to go. And so that, to answer your question, I sell more of what I list, like anyone else. If that's what you're dedicated to, that's what you're going to sell. And so hopefully in the summertime, I will be able to go back in there when I'm on my break, and I can get that motorcycle out of there, and this motorcycle's out of there. I can go back up there and, do a little bit more in the clothing just to blow it out. And to, like I said, I'm not going to completely stop it, but I'm going to dedicate myself to more interesting items, more high-end items, handbags, clothing that I know people are looking for, that people, are going to Posh to look for, or searching on eBay for that particular brand or that particular style or anything like that. Weird taste in clothes is something that I've always also gravitate towards. One of my very first videos were all about the military jackets that I like to pick up. And I'm talking about real military jackets and real high school band jackets and things that, the avant-garde like to clad themselves in. That's what I want to do, because I know someone's looking for that, those vintage hats, vintage jewelry, all of that. But that's kind of what I'm realizing is the more I put into a certain venue, the more I put into a certain item, that's what's going to sell. And that's the only way to look at it. You get, you reap what you sow, as they say. And just make sure that you know that each customer from each venue can be very different. They can be picky when you don't think they're going to be picky. They can be picky. A lot of things, I was thinking about this today when I was talking to a friend I had told her, when I buy something from your auction, please don't send me a gift. You don't have to send me anything extra. I know you're just starting to sell, and you need to just, but then I was thinking, you know what? That's what they do on Posh. That's what they used to do a lot of. A lot of people have waned away from that. They don't want to do that anymore. Oh, it's not necessary. No, it's not necessary, but neither is asking for feedback. Neither is wrapping it in tissue and making it look nice. But it really is its own reward, because when I get something from a posher that bothers to send me a little makeup sample or a perfume sample or a lipstick or anything, even if I don't use it, even if it's a bangle that I could care less about, I appreciate the gesture, and I go over to her feedback page, and I not only give her a 5-star rating, but I leave a little blurb there about how it met and exceeded my expectations. That's what I do. And I used to, when I first started, and I'm going to start again because, again, I got lazy too. We all do. I used to, in my thank you note to my eBay customer, I kind of fished for feedback. I didn't blatantly ask for it, but I would say something like, your item is on its way. I hope you love it. Please know that I value your feedback and I would appreciate it very much, so forth and so on. Just a little blurb about it. 8 times out of 10, they would take me up on it and they would leave me feedback, and I would get, a nice score on my feedback. And it's important to keep that momentum going and to keep it where you're valuing that customer, and that customer feels that. He may not be the same one that's going to come back, but as I said before, when you get into that kind of a mode, you continue it, and it makes what you do more valuable, not only to you, but to them. I'm going to let you go, guys. I think the glitches are over here. If there's any questions, I hope you repost them really quick while I say hello to a couple of other people. And let me see, we have Pamela here. Yes, you do. That's what I believe too, Kim. And I can't tell you, I think I told a story a while back about a person on Posh who had sold me a beautiful bracelet. It looked beautiful when I saw it. It was an autism awareness. I'm all about autism awareness and advocacy. And when I got it, it was extremely worn. It was not to my liking, but she sent me a beautiful lipstick packaged new in a box, and that stopped me from returning it. That literally stopped me from returning it because I had only paid about $10 for the bracelet, and I thought, you know what, that's a really nice gesture. I just didn't want to go there. I may be the only one that thinks that, but I'm relaying to you an anecdote of what happened and why you don't have to go buy a lipstick, but even like I said, a nice handwritten thank you note, if you can, put that in there, put a ribbon on the tissue, something to let them know. Or even, like I said, even in that little invoice that I sent off to the eBay buyer, in there, I put thank you so much for your purchase. I hope you enjoyed it. I really value feedback. I hope that you take the time to do so. And that's it. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know if you have any other topics you want me to cover here on A-listers. I just keep trying to think of things that I think are important for our business, and I hope that you found it interesting today. Give me a thumbs up before you go as well. Subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you again this week. Bye-bye.